Hey, and welcome to another stream with me, Tunray. How are you doing today? Oh, I haven't got anyone in my audience today. Nice and quiet. Well, I say nice and quiet. What I mean is just quiet. We'll see how it goes. I'm going to be doing the Reforj challenge. I'm going to do that for at least an hour. And then we'll see where we are and where we go from there. So, let's hop over. Hello. Okay, this week's challenge is... See, I've only got the graphic in. The graphic doesn't tell me everything. This week's challenge is... Creature creations. Close your eyes and imagine a new creature. The kind that has never existed before. Flex your creative muscles. Build and sculpt your original creature design for the latest Pioneer Weekly Challenge. I am looking forward to this. When it comes to building, I prefer the organics. So I'm using any elements to create a unique creature. I have something in mind, but I have a feeling it's already been made, so I might need to do some tweaks. As it stands, there are no new things. That's how it goes, isn't it? Anything that can be thought of has already been thought of. Oh, look at that over there. How interesting. Okay, let me change my settings so I can see what I'm doing. And we are going to hop into building. So, I don't know if I should be recording this as well. The problem is if I record this, you'll be seeing my lovely little tigress face. So, maybe I will hide me. Yes, we'll hide me. Look, I have settings. And then I'll record what I'm doing as well, and I'll try and make a little video out of it. I haven't prepared for recording, so that's what you get for planning last minute. Hello again. Okay. Let's see. I need my color of choice. Red, orange, and green. For no particular reason. I just like building in this gradient, in this style. Okay. So, let's think of some design. I want a creature that is crawling out of the ground. I think I want... See, what I could do is one big giant creature, or I could do a bunch of smaller creatures. I've done small creatures before. I'm thinking. What I could have done is drawn it. I could hop over and we could sort of design some ideas. You don't have to do just Reforj. I have a whole computer, you know. Let me move my desk about a little. I'm opening Critter. Seeing what I can design on there. I said I'm opening Critter. I don't know if it clicked. There we go, it's loading up. Moving along to the music. I hope that's not too loud. And I hope it's playing. Nothing. Okay. I'm gonna need a brand new page. just make everything. Guys, I haven't done a drawing stream in absolutely forever, so here's my drawing stream. We're back. Kind of. It's only sort of temporary. Okay, so few ideas I've had. One of them gonna be something like no. Gonna be something like this kind of tube-ish shape. And I was gonna have big claws like that. Maybe something like how do I describe that? That reminds me of something and I can't think what it is. Now I've got no one here to like fact check me. In my way. Maybe use a different pencil. I'm not talking because I'm thinking. It's pretty simple. Okay, so kind of like that. With appendages that come out the sides and big serpentine style body. And so along like that. And sort of almost petalish style head. It opens up, because I really like those style mouths. It reminds me of the graboids from Tremors, if anyone has seen that. Good old Kevin Bacon film. It has sequels, I've only seen one of them. So that's one idea. Another idea could be I think I'm sticking with the serpentine tail for a minute. I did a small version of this in my big build challenge with K-Forge, Guardian, and Z4. It's cool. See, now that just reminds me of like a... Oh, what are they called? Not a hippogriff. It makes more sense once I put in the rest of the face. Something like that, but better. I don't know if I like this one particularly right now. You out of the way. This is where I need someone to bounce ideas off. How about something that hasn't been done before? No, I think I'm just designing alien now. Well, that's good. Yep, it's the alien from Alien. I still think this is probably my best idea. What is it they say in art school? Never go with your first idea. Always have an idea and then iterate upon it. But I like my first idea. So let's move it out the way as well. And see if I can just iterate on it a little bit. Put you there. Let's see, so if it's gonna have crawling... Now I don't know why my throat feels like it's catching on air or something. Let's have a think. If we have a serpentine body, it'll go through the water, kind of like that. Going backwards and forwards and stuff. And I think its arms will come down to its side. I think something like that. So, yeah. You over there. And we'll have it so that it streamlines into that kind of effect. I think that's what I'm gonna go with. Not super detailed, but I can build this image up and work from it. Whoop whoop whoop, there it is. Alright, let's go back to Reforj and let's build something like that. Hello, Reforj. Right. We're gonna start with red today. And I think it's gonna have to somewhat into the ground. I don't think I'm gonna build too much at an angle. Maybe. It's gonna be big. I think that's the only way I can really pull this off. It could be bigger, but I might be alright with this. Hang on, I might be cooking. Let me cook. Yep. Alright, let's add a gap. By the way, if you have color blindness, I am a little bit sorry. I will be using red and green next to each other. I'm aware that their value is very similar. Okay, this is kind of annoying. As I'm breathing, it's kind of like... how do I describe it? like the air is chilled, but not cold. Okay, here we go. About that size-ish. Something similar to that in profile. And I think if that's going to be the case, move the arms somewhat and have them something like here. Feels a bit too heavy. If that's going to be the case, I think I'm going to have to make the creature bigger. Gives it better weight. And what I'll be doing is I'll be building up onto this and chunking it about. Do I have this track on my music player? I have no idea. That's a bit better. Okay. So bringing this down as well. Oh gosh, no. That's way too chunky. Too much. I think what I'll do is wait for probably like Monday or something and try and download this live stream so that I can create a video out of it. This is not going to work well. I think it'd be better off if I did this a different way. It could work. Trust the process works just as much for everyone else as it does for... Wait, no. Trust the process works just as much for me as it does for everyone else. I might be my biggest critic, but that doesn't mean I should jump to conclusions. Besides which, as I go along, I'll be trimming it, I'll be editing it. This is not the final shape, strictly speaking. But I will have to do something different with these arms. They don't quite work yet. If I were to look at like a crocodile, for example, that would probably help me out. We are going to... We're gonna freehand this still. I could be smart and I could create concentric circles. But it's very loud in my ears, this music. But I think if I'd made it, like, Wow, that is very wide. I think if I try to make it too geometric, it would just look unnatural. And real life creatures are kind of messy. Now I turn the music too far down. Have I got this on random? I like my music random. It feels like it comes out far too much. Let's see how it looks when I come in from this side then. Yeah, it's just too chunky on this side. It's only a small thing, but small things add up quite quickly. It's a little better. Again, that's protruding too much. I'm not 100% sure what I'm doing that. That should help smooth it out a little. A little it does. I'm gonna keep going. I think with the other creatures I've made, like the dragon's face is symmetrical, and that lends it some credibility to the rest of the build. Whereas this is not going to be symmetrically faced as such. It's going to have symmetry in it, but that's not going to be the main focus. I do have to decide which bits are going to be folding out. I think it would make more sense if it was like here. Kinda like that. So that it opens up at the front. Conceptually, anyway. Gonna be a big red blob for a while. The aim of the game is to try and get this done well in advance of Thursday. I predict I'm going to be fairly busy on Thursday itself, so I need to be ready. Ready. My microphone recording. Yes, it is. Good. I'm a professional. Well, no, I don't call myself a professional, really. I like to think that people who are getting paid, that's what counts as professional. Is it a good metric? Yeah. It's just how I feel. And really, can we go on any other metric? Possibly. I'm rambling. My throat feels tickly. Not like I'm coming down with anything, just not breathless either. Kind of. Just like it's catching. Doing too much talking. which I already felt like I did today. I went out today. I had a good time, had some food out. Went on a date. It was good fun. Had some Nando's. And since having the spicy ones challenge, Nando's just does not feel anywhere close to the same league. I'm not sure it ever did. But it's not about the heat going to Nando's, it's about the good chicken, the good vibes. The staff were great, the chicken was delicious. Good times. Yeah. So I'm going to keep going with this. This is working. I'm going to do a little bit here as well. No, too much, too much. Back. No, I do want that. No, I don't want that. It was not too much. I was looking at the wrong measure. Let's get this in place. Here we go. I may have picked a bad time for streaming today. I know Reforj was streaming on Reforj as well. Doing a hardcore challenge. I'm a little bit sad that I don't get to see that. I'm always missing out on the creators that I want to watch. I miss out on Gartim streams most times. At least I get to watch their videos. I've been quite enjoying the VoD, podcast. That's what it's called. That talks about the news for Reforj. Some wild things going on. They are teasing. I don't know why they're doing it, but they are doing it. They are teasing Reforj's what's it called? Computering techniques? Not automation, logic system. That's the word I wanted. They're teasing a logic system for Reforj. And if you don't know what a logic system is, think about Minecraft Redstone. And then stop thinking about it, because that's where the comparisons end. Yes, I said the forbidden game. That's all good. I just want to check something. Okay, cool. Still me alone. I'm a little bit worried. I may have inadvertently insulted Sterling. I promise it was not my intention. If you don't remember, Sterling has been working on Roblox games and making his own custom game, which is really cool. Certainly more than I can do at the moment. And the reason that I may have offended Sterling, and again, not my intention, was just because we were focusing a little bit too much on the place and his games as opposed to what I'm doing here. And what I'm doing here is kind of deep therapy for myself. I'm working on making myself more comfortable with kinds of socialization, which streaming is sort of. If you squint really hard. Well, as there's no one here, no one watching. Oh, I lied! God damn, you're watching. I was just about to secretly reveal what I'm about to do next week. Yep, I'm working on this week's challenge. I have a concept in mind, but it's really hard to explain it right now. So why don't I use my visual powers? We're in a visual medium. Wow, 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 wow. I'm trying to design something that looks kind of like this. This is probably going to take me a few days to go through, start to finish. But if I get the bulk of it built today, something serpentine for sure. If I get the bulk of it built today, and then I can start refining the details on Monday. Wow, the days are going really quick. I'm busy tomorrow, and then I've got, well, it's the UK's Mother's Day on Sunday, so I'm going to be busy with that. And then Monday, and then Tuesday, and then Wednesday, and then exciting day. I'm so looking forward to Thursday. Let's switch back over to... Here we are. I'm sure Garten won't tell anyone if I expose what I'm planning. Or I can at least tease it. Definitely Reforj related. Ah yes, a chimera. Yeah, chimera's a pretty good answer. I do like chimeras because the typical chimera you'd think of might be the lion-bodied, two-headed, one lion, one goat, and a snake tail with bat wings as well. But it really just means a creature of many creatures. Or at least it's come to mean that. You can go absolutely wild with chimera designs. And I was mentioning it earlier, I think my main inspiration for this comes from Tremors, the Kevin Bacon movie. Which is just a fun, I guess it's scary romp. Not really a horror, it's more like a comedy. Good film though, really enjoy it. Okay, that is so vibrantly red. Where's the sun? Let's move the sun so it's less vibrant. Maybe I should have picked green for the main body. Yeah. Garten remembers. Tremors. What am I doing? I'm losing track of my brain. Okay. So if we put it about 12 o'clock, the sun should be pretty much overhead. There we go. One of the things I like about Reforj is that the sun is not directly overhead. You are very clearly on like the northern hemisphere of whatever world you're on. I mean, it's still not perfect because the idea is you also go around these worlds, but it still feels slightly better being offset. Personal preference. Once I've got this part of the sort of head, I guess, in, I'll have another look to see how it feels. Because I can still scrap it if I don't like it. I'm still very early stages. Got a lot of ways I can improve it. Potentially, that is way too much. Yeah. Need to be ready. Yes, I need to be ready on Thursday. I am going to... The aim of this, I want to get it done at the very latest Wednesday. If it's not done by Wednesday, I'm just gonna see how I'm doing and probably not finish it. Because the thing I'm doing on Thursday, I think is going to be much more important, much more enjoyable. Even though this is the perfect challenge for me. Creature creations, organic building. And nearly there. You managed the NG. Oh, fantastic. I'm looking forward to that. I haven't seen... No worries still. I haven't seen the VoD for that. I've seen your thumbnail, and it doesn't give away too many secrets. So I know I've got to watch it. But I'm looking forward to it. I've got to wait. I've got to find a day, a bit of time for me to do it. That's always my problem. I always don't seem to have quite enough time. But your designs are really, like, really cool in there. And even though I know I definitely helped, it doesn't feel like I was needed. That's how much I enjoy your designs. They stand on their own. I hope you've been thinking about what you're going to do on Thursday, though. Yeah. All coming together, Crunk. It definitely feels like it needs to be tweaked. And pull this one out. I want it to look kind of like, oh, what is it called? It's a type of flower that absolutely stinks when it opens up. Corpse flower. I'm gonna have a look at references for that. I might need to alter my design a bit. But a corpse flower is just a really pretty flower. They rarely open though. And I didn't get the opportunity to see it. I think I missed it by a couple of months when it was in Kew Gardens. Oh my gosh, I'm stretching back a few years on it. There's too few hours in a day and too few days in a week. Isn't that the truth? Now, if we didn't need to sleep, we might be okay. Blasted sleep and not really knowing why we need it. Yeah, I'll leave that a bit in for a minute because I'm going to be making tendrils at some point. The Thing is also a mild inspiration. John Carpenter's The Thing. Oh, what a cracking movie that is. And it's so amazing you can draw a 3D figure. And you can, which already looks amazing, and translate it on the fly to 3D. That is... Okay, I'll tell you my secret to that. I have no idea what I'm doing. I can't seem to think in 3D very well. So, thank you for that compliment, genuinely. But it just comes down to feeling it out and just messing about. If it looks right, you're doing something right. If it looks wrong, keep going. You might do it right in a minute. That's how I think about it anyway. all you can do is try, and the worst that can happen is you fail. And if you fail, so what? When it comes to these artistic things, it really doesn't matter. Not to get too philosophical anyway. Bit more belly. Oh yes, because the belly is actually here, so I need to... I think I need to round this out a bit more. Something kind of like that. Especially as we get down here, it needs to be quite flat. Going into focus mode again, so I'm forgetting to talk. I'd love to be able to properly explain what my process is. I watch so many people, and I learn from so many great creators. But I don't learn in a way that helps me actively help someone else very clearly. Trying to tell someone, you just gotta feel it out and vibe check it, isn't as helpful as you might think. Probably. I don't know, some people do vibe check and it goes really well for them. I think Z4 is pretty good at that. Do I like this? The question. It looks pretty unique. I'll give it that. Also need to consider it coming in on itself as well. It's a tough gig. That's all I can say. There we go. This might end up chunking itself out as I go down, which is absolutely fine. I don't mind it getting bigger. I just don't want it to feel too square. As I fly around, I might have to go with smoothing occasionally, because those corners are just not doing it for me. That might help it out a little bit. It's not perfect, but yeah, something like that will probably help. And I'll do that later on. That's more of a detail thing than the bulk that I'm doing. Oh well, that doesn't work at all. I've got to get the arms in as well at some point. It will work. This will go perfectly to plan. I'm glad I did do the sketch though, because it was, I wouldn't call it clear in my mind, but it was definitely there in my mind. But having something I can just turn around to and go, yep. Even though it's so simple, like such a simple sketch. Barely any structure to it. Big long tube with a couple of arms and some wigglies in the mouth. hope I can... I'm thinking ahead now. I hope I can give it some lovely colours. I'm thinking... like a general single tone throughout, but then have lots of speckled in colours, like throughout the body. That could be interesting. You know what, I'm going to leave them there. That might remind me. Something to give it like an almost iridescence. The idea of having multicoloured... I think that's the word I want, iridescence. Where the light bounces off it and creates an almost rainbow of shimmer. Yeah, this edge just doesn't feel right. I need it to come out more. And then once I've got all of this side done, I'll go around the corner and it'll be a complete wireframe. And I'll have to somehow marry that up. That is just how it goes. Okay, joking on my arrogant. I don't know what that is. I don't even know where I would begin. Imagine going to a doctor and be like, "Doctor, my throat feels funny because it feels funny." How would you even communicate that to them? It's probably fine though. But this is the front. So I want this bit to be flat-ish looking. Which means that when I get to it, I'll be doing something like that. And you might think that I'm telling you, the audience, of Garten basically. And you would be wrong. I am telling me this. I am going to forget. This will help me remember. Probably. Yes. I think this is working out. How are we doing for time? Time-wise, okay, look at 5 to 7. So I've been going for a good 50 minutes. Which does explain why I'm beginning to feel a little worn out. Especially after being out today. I had to talk to people today. Can you believe it? Talking to people is just unduly difficult. And now we're into focus mode and forgot to talk. I gotta figure out how some of the other streamers do it. How they can be so communicative all the time. I say that, watching Hermit Crafters, I know one of their big secrets is just having each other. So they'll jump into calls and chat with each other. Isn't that wholesome? Isn't that lovely? think so anyway. Oh, we do not need it poking out that far. You're doing well. I am fading. I am fading pretty fast. It's not ideal. Instead of having them like that, both of those are in the wrong place. What I could do is kind of something more like that. I might have to work on trying to move this off completely. What did you miss? The ramblings of a crazy person, mostly? I have no idea. I'm at that stage where I'm just talking for the sake of talking, and it has no relevance on anything. I think I might be getting a bit too worn out for the end of the stream. Which means the smart move is probably to consider me off. I mean, I did an hour stream, that's not bad. For me. So it's a big busy day, and I've streamed, and I've not had dinner yet. As I talk, it is more and more compelling to say, let's finish up in a moment. But before we finish up, let's just get this last bit of layer in, have a look. Delete that, that was awful. That was a terrible choice. Go. Alright, conceptually speaking, you're going to be seeing it from a distance most of the time. Yeah, I've built it on the side with shadows now. Can I change that? A little. Too much, too much. No, I don't need to talk, but it's just, it feels ingrained to do it. Okay. Wow, is that? There. I think it might be a bit too chunky, but I can live with that for now. This is definitely going to need to be worked on as we go. But I think that I am kind of happy with how this is starting to look. When it has the arms, and it has arms, I'm not sure, let's not pretend it's got arms. I'm not sure quite where I'm going to put them right now, but we'll see how that goes. I've got the rest of today. After I've had dinner, I'll try and carry on with this. Let's stop here before I completely collapse myself. Thank you very much for watching the stream. Or if you've gotten this far in the VoD, thank you very much for watching. I'm pretty sure I'm around next week. And I'm gonna finish it, because I'm worn out suddenly. Bye bye. Johnny.